Today I want to talk to you about something that I completely and fundamentally disagree, and this is sugar diet. You have probably seen it that sugar has been reframed as essential fuel necessary for performance and also something you must eat, otherwise you will regularly crash. And I want to be clear from the start, I reject this idea entirely. Not emotionally, not ideologically, but physiologically. And if you stay with me till the end of this video, you will understand why sugar narrative keeps people tired, hungry, overweight, and hormonally compromised, even when they train hard. For the ones who are new to my channel, I am Dr. Nash Jocic, former bodybuilding champion. I competed 46 times and won 17 titles. I have been in bodybuilding for over 40 years, and during that time I have personally coached over 3,500 people and helped them to get in the best shape of their lives. I have also published 12 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed information about everything you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. Things like muscle growth, fat loss, training splits, number of sets, number of reps, nutrition, lifestyle change, and much, much more. So if you want to expand your knowledge and widen your horizons, simply click on the link below in comments and you can access my ebooks. So let us define what people mean by sugar diet, what they mean when they promote or advocate sugar diet. So that doesn't mean that they're always saying eat sweets all day long. Actually, the idea that they're trying to promote is that you must constantly replenish glucose. You must eat carbs frequently. Sugar equals energy and low carb equals danger. Many of you have heard this, and many of you are unfortunately following these ideas. And most of the people that I see in the gyms on a daily basis are completely devoted to this stigma that you need to replenish glucose constantly, that, if you don't eat carbs, you are going to crash, that sugar equals energy, and similar ideas. And this is why they can't wait to finish their workout and eat something either sweet or something high in carbohydrates, and then eat carbohydrates again, maybe 2-3 times later on in the day, simply following this mantra, which is completely wrong. So people end up eating cereals, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, fruit juices, energy bars, and so-called healthy snacks. And they do it all day long. They believe that this is normal human nutrition, but it is not. And it is very damaging for their health. It's also not helping them to stay lean and also not helping them to build bigger muscles. This approach is simply devastating. So why people eat sugar? Why they love sugar? Many times people would say to me, oh, I really feel good when I eat sugar. I have to, because sometimes I'm really stressed and I need some sugar. In the evening, I need some carbohydrates, otherwise I cannot sleep. The truth is actually that sugar spikes dopamine, and dopamine makes you relaxed, makes you feel good. But it doesn't mean that it's good for you, because drugs also do the same thing. They can spike different hormones, substances in the body that can make you relax, make you feel good. But this is not the way out. This is just dealing with consequences, but not basically eliminating the reason for your necessity to constantly need that dopamine spike. Sugar does the following things, and I hope you will remember this. Sugar raises blood glucose rapidly, also triggers insulin and activates reward pathways. And then, as quickly as sugar has done this, it drops, so your blood sugar goes down, and this will create the following situation. You will be hungry, you're going to feel fatigued, you're going to be very irritable, and you're going to have brain fog. And I hope that you didn't experience this, although probably most of you have experienced this as I did. Every time in the past when I didn't know much about bodybuilding and much about healthy nutrition, I was also hooked to carbohydrates. And this is exactly what has happened to me. I was hungry all the time. I was always tired, always bloated. I was always irritated if I didn't eat. And I also had brain fog. So this is what you're going to get from sugar if you eat carbohydrates all day long. So what people do, they eat more sugar. And this is not energy management. It's simply metabolic dependency. So don't forget, sugar is very addictive. It basically gets you into that vicious insulin cycle from which you cannot get unless you eat again in 2 hours some carbohydrates. And then you eat again, and you eat again, and you eat again. And you basically get hooked. So you become addicted to sugar or carbohydrates. When you get hooked to carbohydrates and become dependent on them, this is exactly what happens. You're entering the state of constantly elevated insulin, which is very destructive. So what insulin does in the body, it shuttles glucose into the cells, glucose and amino acids. Now, when insulin is high, your fat burning stops. So insulin blocks fat burning. Also, insulin promotes fat storage. Some of you may say, oh, but insulin is there to take glucose into the muscle cells. True, but when the glycogen stores are full, which are full most of the time for most of the people, all excess glucose will go to fat. Because there is the only way that that insulin can store excess glucose. It has to be stored somewhere. So if your glycogen is full, glycogen reserves in your muscles and the liver are full, your body will have to store that glucose somewhere, and it will store it in fat cells. Also, high insulin suppresses growth hormone. This is why we produce growth hormone naturally some 2 to 3 hours after we get asleep. So nature didn't make mistakes. Nature wanted us to be in the state of low insulin, where growth hormone will perform its action the best. So when insulin is constantly elevated, it simply blocks production of growth hormone. Now think about this carefully. If you eat sugar in the morning, between the meals, you have carbohydrates in every meal, you take carbohydrates, whatever shape and amount they are, as pre-workouts, then you take carbohydrates post-workouts, you take them in drinks, you take sugar in snacks. So when is your insulin ever low? Never. So your insulin is constantly high, and you are in the state of chronically elevated insulin. And when insulin is never low, you will simply never access stored fat, growth hormone will be suppressed, you will always be hungry, and your energy will be unstable. And this is why people say, I eat all day long and I'm still tired. And this is exactly the truth. So let me explain to you once again what is the mechanism of sugar and fat gain. Simply, fat gain is not just calories, it's a hormonal traffic control. Sugar enters bloodstream quickly, forces insulin release, and excess glucose must be stored, as I mentioned somewhere. If your glycogen stores are full, excess glucose will be stored in fat cells. Once insulin is high, fat cannot leave the fat cell. So you are storing fat easily, but releasing fat poorly. And this is not calorie issue. This is a metabolic lock that you have trapped yourself into by eating carbohydrates all day long and also keeping your insulin high. Some of you may say, oh, but I need sugar for energy, I need sugar for training. But this is one of the biggest myths. Actually, yes, intense training uses glycogen, but glycogen can be replenished without the sugar overload. I've said it in many videos. You don't need carbohydrates at all to replenish glycogen. You can replenish your glycogen via gluconeogenesis. Also, fat-adapted athletes maintain stable energy. So you don't need carbohydrates, especially you don't need them before workout, during the workout, after the workout, because glycogen that you use for your workouts has been stored day before or days before. Let's say you're training chest on Monday, and then next week again on Monday. What do you think is going to happen for a week? The body will replenish glycogen in your chest. So you'll be able to train your chest perfectly, no problem whatsoever. You don't need any extra carbohydrates, any overload of sugar. And this myth of, oh, I need sugar for energy, for workouts, is absolute nonsense. This is just a pleasing practice that most of the people do in order to make themselves feel good, make themselves comfortable, and enjoy the taste of sugar. But that comes with the consequences, unfortunately bad consequences. So you definitely don't need any sugar drinks, constant carbs, and all pre-workout spikes. What you need is a proper protein intake during the day, and obviously before, in the days before. You need adequate amount of fat, and also you need time for insulin to fall. Strength does not come from sugar, it comes from recovery and hormones. So why are people hungry all the time? Because when they eat carbohydrates all the time, what happens is that they raise their blood sugar, which automatically raises insulin. That means that blood sugar will drop quickly after the insulin is raised, because once insulin is raised, it will wipe out sugar for your blood, and you will enter low sugar state, hypoglycemic state. And also, insulin stimulates appetite hormones. So when you eat carbohydrates all day long, the insulin will do exactly this to you. It will make you hungry, and it will make your energy unstable. Now, low-carb diets do exactly the opposite. When you eat high protein, medium fat, low carb, you will have stable blood sugar. So you will never have those hunger spikes during the day. Also, you will lower your insulin, meaning you will be constantly in the fat burning mode throughout the day. And you will also have the natural appetite control. You will be able to eat when you are hungry, and appetite will naturally raise when your body tells you that the body needs more food. But when you eat carbohydrates all day long in many meals, this is not going to be the case. You will have to eat simply because you have wiped out your blood sugar by raising insulin up meal after meal after meal. So once again, golden era athletes got this absolutely right, because they, first of all, didn't eat much carbohydrates, and they didn't spike their sugar all day long by following with high insulin spike. They ate mainly meat, eggs, fat, and simple and structured meals. They trained hard, they rested, and they were not constantly spiking insulin. And they've done that without tracking calories. So today we know everything about everything, apparently. We have all these calorie calculators that help us to track our calories and make apparently perfect meals. And we end up, as most of the influencers on YouTube will suggest you, to eat 6, 7, 8 times a day, smaller meals, in order to keep insulin high. So why would you keep insulin high? What is good in insulin being high is actually absolutely opposite. And as golden era athletes have proven, they were perfectly defined, probably better, they had better condition then than people now, despite all the science, right? And all the chemicals and all the steroids and all the different type of hormones. Golden era athletes were in much better shape. They were in much better condition, as you can see from these images. People never entered this type of conditioning. I'm talking about most of the professional bodybuilders. But golden era athletes did it because they simply followed those basic rules. As I mentioned, they ate few times per day, and they ate whole food meals, which were predominantly meat, eggs, fish, and they didn't eat 6, 7 times per day because they didn't have to. They achieved phenomenal results, and they stayed lean year long. Most of them are still in very good shape even now. So why is this idea of sugar diet born at all? So somebody must have benefited from this propaganda of sugar diet. Clearly, we are talking about food companies, supplement companies, and also snack manufacturers, because all these companies, they need to put sugar in their food in order to make that food palatable, in order to make it tasty, in order to make people addicted to this type of food, and therefore to make better sales. I remember I had a experience with one American company which I was acquainted with, and they wanted me to create the supplement line for them. And when I did it, they came back to me and they said, oh, but you didn't put sugar in any of these powdered products. I said, sugar, what are you talking about? In my book, The Ultimate Nutrition, I have a whole chapter in which I talk against sugar. Oh, but they said, we can't do this because they said to me, you know, Americans love sugar. If there is no sugar, they're not going to buy it. So that was around 2012. So imagine what has happened ever since. Obviously, they tried to, psych people into benefits of eating sugar. And this is another attempt to prove that sugar is actually good for you, that you need sugar because you need to have constantly energy in your body. You need to replenish glucose, and also you need energy. You need sugar for training. But this is absolutely not true, as I have explained. While all these companies actually benefit from promoting sugar diets, your metabolism does not benefit. Your hormones, they don't benefit as well. And also your long-term health. Because sugar keeps people dependent, hungry, and confused. And dependent people are very easy customers. So let me wrap it up for you. What I'm saying in this video, that sugar is not essential and is certainly not a foundation of any healthy diet. The diet that is built on sugar creates hormonal instability, fat gain, energy crashes, and poor long-term health. A diet built on protein, fat, and simplicity creates stability. This is why I reject sugar diets, and this is why I will continue saying it regardless of trends. So let me remind you once again that I have published 12 ebooks for you, which are all available on my website. So if you want to expand your knowledge, if you want to widen your horizons, start building muscles finally and burning body fat and try to get in the best shape of your life, simply click that link below in the comments and you can access my ebooks. Also, I would like you to watch this video in which I introduce my other services, actually the ways that I can help you personally one-to-one to get in the best possible shape. And my services are personalized training programs, personalized nutritional programs, telephone consultations, online coaching, and also personal training one-to-one for people who live in London. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, send me your comments, and I will see you in the next video.